Hi there, my name is Patrick Lamontagne. I am a cartoonist and digital painter, whimsical wildlife primarily. I'm here at my home in Canmore, Alberta. If you're wondering, that mountain right there is called Howling. And on the other side of those mountains right now in Kananaskis is the G7 conference. So if you hear any jets or if you hear anything like that going by, that's what you're hearing, because there's quite a bit of activity over there this week. But that's really not what I'm here to talk about. I've been trying to revive my YouTube channel for the last 6 months. I had videos on there over the years, and primarily showing my painting progress, high-speed paintings, and then I'd have a narrative over top of it with my thoughts on either the painting or different parts of being an artist for a living, basically sharing the same stuff that I share on my website, in my blog, and in my email list, which I've had for many years. And none of that stuff ever bothers me. I enjoy writing, I enjoy telling the stories behind my work. But putting myself on video like this has become really uncomfortable. And I don't know why, because if you get me in my booth at the Calgary Expo, or if you get me in my booth at the Banff Christmas Market, I have no problem talking about my work and telling the stories. In fact, the trick is getting me to shut up. So why am I so uncomfortable talking to the camera? And I think it's just the same as everybody else. We overthink how we look. We overthink of production value. And we see so many videos out there now, and so many of these people have the best equipment. And we think, oh, we have to be as good as them. And yet the advice that I'm constantly giving artists when they ask about advice for creating art is, you have to be willing to suck before you get good. Why should this be any different? I was getting ready to record this in my office this morning, and I've got the lights and I've got the right microphone, this lav mic, and I've got the camera set up and where it's supposed to be. And it was just so frustrating and so exhausting to have to go through the self-doubt again. So I figured, you know what? I'm going out for a bike ride and get my exercise. I live in one of the most beautiful places in the world, something we often take for granted, those of us living here. Why don't I use this as my backdrop? Nobody really cares what I look like. This is great. And I get to see it every day. Now, I'm not bragging. It's just we bought our place 25 years ago. We moved here 30 years ago. And it was basically, this is just home. We didn't move here because of the Canadian Rockies and its reputation and everything. We just had jobs living in Banff. And that was where we went to find work, my wife and I. And 30 years goes by fast. It's been 31, I think, this year. So what I'm going to plan for this channel is it's not going to be an instructional channel. I'm not going to be teaching artists how to do this, because that's not really the people who follow my work. Yes, there are some of them, and they'll ask me questions, and I'll give them advice whenever I can, because a lot of people gave me advice when I needed it. But the people who follow my work most of the time are people who just like my artwork. They collect it, and they like to hear the stories I tell. They like to see the photos I take. A lot of times I like to take my own photos for my own reference, and a lot of those have great stories that go with them. And I was going to script this, and I was going to have a scripted intro and a scripted outro and all that stuff. And, you know, like I said, I'm just tired. I'm tired of trying to make it perfect. So I have now abandoned that. I just bike down here. My bike's sitting right there. And ironically, the camera is sitting on a tripod that I have elevated a little bit on my bike helmet. You can see these gloves that look kind of pretentious, but they actually help with grip. And I figured I would just introduce this and say that I'm just going to try to be consistent. I'm trying to do more videos like this. So in the future, you will see these painting videos. You will hear the narratives over top of it like I used to, but I'm adding in this stuff too. So why YouTube? I don't want to be a YouTuber. I'm not looking to create content. I don't want to go viral. I'm not looking to do all of these videos. And basically, this is a means to an end to advertise my artwork. I'm an artist first and foremost. And Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, none of that stuff's working for artists anymore. You put in a ton of effort and you get nothing out of it, at least for a lot of them. but YouTube is still paying dividends. And I have been remiss in not using it as a tool to market my work and to tell the stories behind it. So I'm going to start adding this to the toolbox, just doing more of this work or doing more of this type of thing. And right now I'm very uncomfortable doing this, talking to the camera. Somebody might walk by. In fact, a gentleman just did walk by, and in between me setting up and me pressing record, and had a good chat with him. Just a local guy talking about the elk that might be in the trees here. That's something we live with here, and you just always have to be careful. It is calving season. So if people walk by and they see me talking to my phone, well, how is that different from every Gen Z and millennial out there? I just happen to be in my 50s. So let's see how we do. I'm not going to edit this. And if you're watching it, good for me. I did it. I beat the fear. I beat the discomfort. Now I just have to do it again and again and again and again and again and again. And hopefully a year from now, this is just part of my workflow, just like writing a blog post. I used to get nervous about those too, but that was 20 years ago. I'm not nervous about that anymore. It's just part of promoting the work. But because I have spent the last 6 months, I'm hearing one of those G7 planes go over, because I've been obsessing for the last 6 months and watching all these videos on how to do this, I have to ask you to click like and click subscribe, because all of that does help and it shows my videos to more people. And if you want to follow the stories behind the work, you can also subscribe to A Wilder View, which is the name of my email list. And that link is below, somewhere below. I haven't learned how to do this yet. I'm going to enjoy the rest of my bike ride now with the satisfaction that I finally got off my ass and recorded something for the camera. And even though it's going to have ums and ahs and likes, and maybe I don't like how I'm sitting and, posture-wise and everything, who cares? There'll be another one next week or the week after, whenever I get around to it. I hope you have a very good day, wherever you are. Cheers.